If I was to give you a map, kind of like the one behind me here, would you be able to point out on that map where Liberia is? Well, if you look, you can see you can see the continent of Africa, and Liberia lives right on the west coast of Africa. It's about the size of the state of Tennessee and contains about 4.9 million people. And also, it was the destination of an 8-week-long journey that me and my dad took earlier this year. And I would like to invite you to come along this journey with me, along on this journey, and hopefully by the time we're done, you may be able to know a little bit more about Liberia. All right, before we get to that, I know everyone kind of just wants to jump into all the Africa content and all that footage. But before I get to that, I need to talk a little bit about the background. Why we went over there, where we planning on staying 8 weeks, what we were doing there. In December, my dad got a phone call from the professor over there, the head of the college, the president, Dr. Buzz, and he said he was looking for Bible professors to come and to help teach a Bible course. And so my dad agreed on one contingency, and that was he wasn't able to come for a full semester. He was only able to come for 8 weeks. And so Dr. Buzz was teaching a Daniel class and a Revelations class, and he said, well, Pastor Tim, if you want to come up here, teach the Daniel class, and I'll teach the Revelations class. That way you won't have to come on over to Liberia for quite so long. So my dad came to me, and he said, hey, Gabe, would you be interested in going to Africa? And for me, Africa has been a part of my heart for a long time now. 2012, I believe, me and my family tried adopting from Sierra Leone, not Sierra Leone. Try and adopt 2 children from Rwanda. That was a very long process. It took a very large amount of money, and it all fell apart. It didn't go through. The country got shut down, and there was no way that we were able to adopt from Rwanda, and that kind of broke my heart. A couple years later, I got an opportunity from Burnt Hickory Baptist Church down in Georgia, and they offered, they were going on a mission trip over to Kenya, and they offered us to go with them. So me and my sister flew over to Kenya and spent, I believe, 14 days over there. It was a very wonderful experience. However, I felt like I wasn't there long enough to have any sort of effect. I didn't feel like I was there long enough to help the people of Kenya. So when this opportunity came to go on a mission trip to Liberia for 8 weeks, at first I was hesitant because I didn't know what I would be doing. And I didn't want to spend 8 weeks on the other side of the world just sitting around. And then afterwards, I found out a man from our church in Alaska, his name is Dave Peterson, was going, and Dave always has some kind of projects going. Dave is he's a contractor, so he has some kind of construction work going on. Me being a construction worker, I was very excited about that and the opportunity to go overseas, spend a large amount of time over there, and be able to do something. Construction work is one of the most rewarding types of work, because when you're done building a house, not only do you feel accomplished, but you can look over and you can see the house and you know, hey, I'm done. There's a house there. In like pastorship or leadership, you might sow seeds into these people and work for several years, and they might change, but there's not that physical object that helps show that your work has been completed. That is why I really like construction work. And when I heard that Dave was going to do construction work, I was excited at the opportunity to be able to do something, one, that I was good at, and two, that I could see the results for my hard work. So anyway, my dad got on the missions team for Anchor Point Church, and we decided we were going to fly over there, do some construction work, and for him to teach the class, for me to do school, and in my free time, work with Dave on whatever project he had going, and to help him with that. When I went, this has happened every time I've gone on a mission trip. Before you go, you have no idea what you're doing, and you kind of just figure it out. Before I went, I had no idea what was going on or what kind of projects Dave was working on. But benefit of hindsight, Dave worked on a deaf school down in Ganta. We worked on building dormitories for that. We helped work on a library. Dave's wife, Trudy Peterson, is a school teacher, and back in Alaska, and what she does is the schools in Alaska are only allowed to use their textbooks for a year or two, and then they have to retire them. And so most of these textbooks just get thrown away. However, Trudy said, no, I want to use those textbooks. So she has actually gone through hundreds of thousands of books, sorted them into different piles, and filled up a whole shipping container full of books. And those got sent over to Africa. And me, Dave, and Trudy helped distribute those books. There was, I believe, 11 different schools. We didn't get all of those done. However, it was a very rewarding experience to see all of the schools receiving these books. The next project that we worked on while we were there was a basketball court that we built out in Foya, and that was one of the highlights of my trip. Was we flew out there with Samaritan's Purse on a helicopter, and you'll have to wait and see, but for me that was one of the most exciting parts of the trip. So anyways, guys, that is a little bit about me and where I was coming from when I decided to go on this trip to Africa. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I'm going to have to end the video right here, but stay tuned, and we were going to get you guys some of this Africa content coming, and stay tuned. We'll see you then.